The movement to restore democracy wants government to negotiate with the elected members of the United Workers' Party to find a solution to the problem which exists in Parliament. Chairman of the MRD, Sam Raphael, was speaking on the heels of a decision by Norris Prevost to take the oath of allegiance in Parliament this morning.
We think out of everything there's an opportunity. Certainly the game is up. It's over. This ratcheting up of the Parliament has failed. The strategy has failed. And so maybe now the government needs to sit at the negotiating table with the opposition party, with the president of Dominica, to find a solution so that people can adequately represent the people of Dominica and we can move forward. At the same time, the government then would focus its attention on what governments do, which is to take care of the economy and the spiraling crime and all the other things that people are crying about, but these things aren't getting any attention because Parliament just seems to be about whether the opposition shows up or doesn't show up.
Chairman of the MRD, Sam Raphael. Meantime, Parliamentary Representative for Salisbury, Hector John, has denounced the notion that Prevost has disassociated himself with the United Workers' Party.
We're sending a message not only to the United Workers' Party, but to the entire country, that the United Workers' Party is doing its share to ensure that democracy is restored in our country. And we're asking every Dominican to join us, civic-minded Dominicans of all walks of life, to ensure that we join together to stop this madness, the erosion of our democracy. And if we allow Roosevelt Skerrit and this government to do whatever they want in our country, we'll lose it. I know that some of you have read Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Machiavelli as well, and how people fight for the country, how they work hard to ensure that they have democracy in the country. And we are taking that fight today. We're starting today. You know, you'll have us, there are so many things that this government can deal with, but they went to the House, as Mr. James said on several occasions. You have, on average, 3 sittings of the House per year. And what does that say? Only one thing is about, is to ensure that they can try to get the United Workers' Party off and get all the seats and have one party state. We cannot allow that to happen as a country.
Parliamentary Representative for Salisbury, Hector John. Meantime, Prevost says the party remains united and strong, and taking the oath only strengthened the party's boycott. Prevost says Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit cannot bear true allegiance to Dominica by law, having at the time of his election nomination publicly admitted his allegiance to another state.
The taking of the oath of allegiance by the member for Roseau Central this morning does not stop the United Workers' Party boycott of the Parliament, nor does it in any way legitimize what continues to be a fraudulent Parliament. And it's part of the United Workers' Party overall strategy to intensify the fight to protect the people of Dominica from Mr. Skerrit's ambition for absolute power and a one-party state. Skerrit, the present Prime Minister and leader of the Parliament, cannot, like me, bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica according to law, because at the time of his nomination, he publicly admitted that he bore allegiance to a foreign power, but that no law, no constitution could prevent him from being nominated. And he went on to sign the declaration Form 13, saying at item 4 on that declaration, I solemnly declare I am not, by virtue of my own act, under any acknowledgement of allegiance to a foreign power.
Member of Parliament for the Roseau Central constituency and the only opposition parliamentarian, Norris Prevost. Meantime, former parliamentary representative for Roseau, Charles Savre, has commended Prevost's move.
It is worthy for us in this House and for us in Dominica to note the fact that Mr. Prevost, the member for Roseau Central, elected in the general election, was in Parliament today, did take his oath of office, and is the duly elected and sworn in member of Parliament for Roseau Central. What it means, Madam Speaker, is that the member has the responsibility to give effective representation to the people of Roseau Central in this parliament and outside of parliament. So that we have to recall, of course, Madam Speaker, in the previous parliament, Mr. Prevot was in the habit of coming in, spending half an hour, making a speech, and leaving. We expect in this parliament, he will come in, he will in fact follow the procedures of the House and make his contribution on each and every matter that comes up, so that the voice of the people of Roseau Central will be heard in the Parliament of Dominica. And we look forward to that. Madam Speaker, there are 5 years ahead of us, during which the member for Roseau Central will have ample opportunity to give voice to the concerns, to the aspirations, to the hopes, to the interests, and to the wishes of the people of the Roseau Central constituency.
Former parliamentary representative for Roseau, Charles Savre, Prevot today took his oath of office and has become the only legitimate member of the country's opposition. In other news, the annual general meeting of the Alumni Association of the University of the West Indies will get underway this evening at the Fort Young Hotel. Head of the UWI Open Campus, Dr. Francis Severin, says this evening's event is expected to elect a new executive.
It's a very important annual general meeting because there's going to be an election of officers: Vice President, President, Treasurer, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Secretary, Public Relations Officer. The last executive has been sort of in that position for about 2 years, and I believe they have expressed the wish that they should be relieved and allow others to take it forward. And they have done a wonderful job and have worked very closely with the Open Campus, Dominica. You asked about impact. An alumni association is very important because it's an association of graduates. They fly the flag for the institution, their alma mater. They, depending on the positions that they hold and the impact that they have on the society, they raise or lift the profile of institutions. If you think of the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, public servants generally, and people operating in all sectors of the society, many of them have been to the University of West Indies and are contributing to the development of this country positively. So in that way, they carry the name of the university forward.
Head of the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica, Dr. Francis Severin. The event is scheduled for 6 p.m. this evening at the Fort Young. In other news, Cameron Douglas is the Dame Student of the Year for having attained the distinction in Grade 5 saxophone in the recently concluded practical exam, while Anna Marie Leblanc topped the local Dame practical examinations. 109 students presented at the Association's Board of the Royal Schools of Music practical exam and the Dominica Association of Music Educators practical exams, which concluded on April 26, 2010 at the UWI Open Campus.
We came from the studios of Lang Sorrento, Christian, Valina Leighton, Purcell, Huguet, and there was Jean-Jacques, person who sent in a few students. They were examined between grades 1 and to grade 6 in flutes, clarinet, trumpet, saxophone, violin, and piano. And Cameron Douglas was awarded the Student of the Year because he attained a distinction at grade 5 level. And there is this other young girl who was very successful. Special mention must be with her. But she sat the grade 1 level, so we gave the Student of the Year to Cameron because it's a more difficult level.
President of the Dominica Association of Music Educators, Jacqueline Andre. Meantime, the students would be highlighted at a high scorers concert to be held this Sunday.